Hello, 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 everyone. How is everyone doing today? Good morning, Kevin. Good morning, Royal Palms. Good morning, Patrick. Thank you for putting in all the earnings, Sterling. Good morning, by the way. We'll look at those in a second. Oh, a lighter crowd today. Got a bunch of people in the background. Let's come on and say hi in the chat over on Rumble. Say hi in that chat too. Let's see. We had Snowflake. It was a beat up 13.21% to be exact. Five below. Stock up beat 4.5%. CrowdStrike beat down 3.58. Big one, Nvidia. People didn't. I mean, their guidance was decent. I think we're getting to the top of AI. We're starting to peak out in AI. They had decent earnings. Their data center revenue wasn't so good, but again, you had some upgrades today. But we'll have to see if it really catches hold. It probably will because they announced a stock buyback, but I think it's getting to peak AI. We're not getting the same reactions anymore. Dick's Sporting Good beat down 2. Burlington Coats is now just called Burlington Stores. Beat up 8.46. Good morning, Tony. Good morning, Anissa. We had Best Buy with Dollar General this morning. Did you type those in? Did you have those in there, Sterling? Best Buy was a beat. Dollar General was a beat. Dollar General's up like nearly 3.5%. Good morning, David. Good morning, Ted. Sam Altman said AI may be in a bubble. I did see that, and I think it is in a bubble. But you know what? It's once this one pops, it'll be interesting. And remember, now 3 companies make up a huge percentage of NVIDIA sales, which is not what you really want, because if they start cutting back, you don't have much. But they're in talks with China, I guess, to sell, or the Trump administration and China for Blackwell chips, and what they're going to give percentage of the sales to the government. Oh boy, if that goes through, you know where the priorities are. Good morning, Jake. Hello, Charles. So there you go. Best Buy beat stock up 1.66%. Good morning, Dean. All right, what else? We didn't just have NVIDIA earnings yesterday. We had this morning GDP. This is a second revision, revised higher, 3.3. Prior was I think 3, and the consensus was 3.1. We had the price index coming in at consensus at 2%. Initial jobless claims, by the way, came in a little better than consensus, 229 versus 230, and down from 234. Continuing jobless claims coming in at 1954, down from 1961, and consensus of 1970. So both those beat better. PCE prices, now this is quarter over quarter. This is the second estimate coming in at 2.5. Consensus was 2.6, so that's coming in better. Nothing really shocking this morning. Nothing really shocking. Nothing out of line. So we all have to wait for the core PC month over month tomorrow and the headline PCE. Other than that, today we still have the Kansas City Fed Composite and Manufacturing Index coming out at 11 a.m. And we got Waller speaking tonight. But not a pretty quiet day. Real consumer spending, by the way, coming in at 1.6. Consensus was 1.4, so better than consensus, but that's not a fantastic number. That's not a fantastic number. There we go. Dollar General was a beat stock up 3.42. All right. So let's take a look at the broad market. Well, there's CrowdStrike on their beat, but down. ANET. Did they report Astra Networks? Don't know about that. There's your Dollar General. Other than that, mega caps sort of flat, slightly mixed. NVIDIA down, a Broadcom up. We'll have to see if this bounces back today at all. Overall in groups, sorry, clicked on the wrong tab. Financial, industrials, basic materials leading. Comm services just down. Everything else is up, though, going into the open. Fed watch still is 85% for the September cut. Fear and greed still solidly in greed. Schiller PE back above 39. Above 39. Oh, boy. This market is really expensive. Even with these beats, I mean, you're beating stuff, but the PEs on a lot of these companies aren't cheap either. So, what else do we have today? We have Dell after the close, Marvell, Dell, nothing tomorrow. Well, we have Alibaba, but besides that, nothing. So, all right. Let's take a look at these not so cheap markets continuing to climb, continue to hold the rotation zone. This double will probably be invalidated if it gets through. We've bounced off the 6504 harmonic a couple times. Going to keep watching that into the open, that 6504, 6505 area. At 6512, these are the minor harmonics. That would invalidate this little mini potential double. And I have to go over here, and it's starting to get, anyways, where it only works on the 1 hour. I'm just going to pull this off for now in case we have something else, because I'll just use, if we turn around and crap out, I'm just using a couple targets, namely about 64.16 and 63.85. So, gonna see. I bet we're gonna eke out the new high in the futures today. In the futures, I'm really looking for that new high with a major divergence setup. I don't know what's going to tip this market, but we're getting to where to keep selling vol, buying it all. It's looking very, very tired, but I would not be short it yet. I didn't looking to put hedges in place, but I would not be shorting this thing yet. So, 65.12 is the next target I will use today, and the next major target, 65.27. That is about it. If you're looking for another minor target, you can use these reverse harmonics here, and we can see what clusters we get. So we have, here is your next key levels. I mean, you're really looking at just this 65.26 area, and then your major cluster, if it keeps going, is 65.42 to 65.44, roughly in there. Other than that, any pullback right now is, we've already tested the key little support, the 64.90 level earlier today. So there's not much to talk about. Again, if that were to break, we now have another major support base right around 64.81. So again, there aren't a lot of key areas. If it rolls over, those are the key support base. There's not enough room to do anything from the short side. So it's just maintain long positions and continue to look higher for the next target, 65.12. Good morning, OD Green. We missed a triggered weekly double bottom in 5. It's approaching the weekly 200 and first target this morning. I definitely missed it. Good morning, Jacob. So, definitely, let's see. Let's just take a look at that. Weekly. Yeah, that was a valid weekly double. I assume it was. I assume it didn't extend too far. Yep, it was valid. It was valid. So, and this is another clear example where, yeah, even though it's going to pretty much hit the first target on the gap, this is where my first target would be an area right here with that 200. Would not have ignored that if we did spot this one, but I did not spot this one. Thank you for pointing that out, Sterling. I don't spot every one of them. NASDAQ, going to be interesting to see. NASDAQ going to be interesting to see if it can get above the 62.5 today or not. Yesterday spiked up there and closed below it, looking at 23,681 on a closing basis. That is going to be key. Above there, let me just look at the next targets. Roughly, this is a little too low. We're looking at closer to this 23,750 area, 755, and then 23,810, especially if we close above the 62.5. Those are the key upside targets. I mean, this is really struggling, this area. So again, on any pullback of 23,626 is minor support, major support is 23,5. The Dow does have A little mini potential double top probably will not trigger based off this market, but it's reversing this whole move, not this move. It's reversing this whole move. And it's against the daily rotation zone. The Dow, again, trading at new highs. If it continues to go, 46,162 to 46,236 is the harmonic area. Other than that, not much to talk about there. The Russell does not have the potential double anymore. Remember, for new people, just because you have a potential double top, it does not mean they'll ever trigger, so you don't try to front run. We took out the next harmonic, 2385. The next key major level, and this is around the all-time highs set last November and December, is 2443. Again, if you get overextended back to overbought territory, but your key support now is back at around 2369, 2370. The VIX, new recent lows in the VIX. Boy, if something shocks this market, I mean, it's sell vol. It's complete sell vol, buy everything, and complete sell vol, buy everything when the markets are at these extremes. It could get interesting, but you do not short this market. Do not do it yet. Nothing to watch for really in there. The DAX, not much to talk about. Breaking down from this support base, but reversing just a little lower. Not a great setup in the DAX at all. Now, if we start taking out this area that is testing today with the reversal open, this 24K, then it could get interesting. If we start rolling over again. DAX is also getting tired. The yields finally invalidated the remainder of the double after not even hitting the first target. Complete stop out there. One of the rarer complete stop outs without even hitting the first target. But holding support, major support base, anything today? Nothing today. Nothing today. We'll be watching, depending on what the PCE, if we get a %B buy set up today, we'll be watching that going into PCE numbers tomorrow morning. So I'll be watching today's high on the micro yields, 10-year micro yields. Crude, after triggering the %B sell, it'll bounce back yesterday, but no real follow through yet. We are getting the cycle tops, and the stop for that %B sell was above Monday's high. So nothing to do there for me, from my perspective, besides wait for the rollover, unless that's stopped out. Gold hit the next harmonic target, 34.66 to 62.5. That was the next key area. Going to be watching to see if it closes above this or not. If it does not, we're getting the cycle tops and overbought. Remember, this was a trade for me. The long-term investments, this has nothing to do with long-term gold position. This is a trade. So from a trade perspective, unless this thing can close above the 62.5, it's aggressively move up a stop for me. If this does close above the 62.5, the next key area I'd focus on is this 34.88 area with the gap fill. We have the gap fill technically to 34.91.3, 34.88.9 is the harmonic. That's the next target, but this is getting in trailing mode also, so I'm going to be paying attention if this does not close above the 62.5 to today's low. What else? On a closing basis, not a trade-through basis. Really nothing going on with copper besides the contract roll today. Dollar index reversing back down. Could not, you can see rejected again for that 98.20 level yesterday. Now looking like we're going to test support. Nothing to do here. There's not a lot to do in some of these markets. Euro in cotton consolidation, nothing to do there. Spiders yesterday eked out a new high. All right. Is this a little mini double? This is the little mini double. Is that off the table right now? No, it's not, because it has not got above 647.73, but it looks like it's going to open up closer there, so it'll probably be off the table into the open. All right. Major support now is back at right around this 646 area. 646 is the support level. If it continues through 647.73, next target 649.55. By the way, we still have the bigger double potentially in place. The Qs, no close above the 62.5, but going to be paying attention to 574.14 today. Going to open up above that, but let's see if it can sustain it. Above there, the next targets are 577.20. Next target. The support, let me find a good support level in here. That was pretty close. Right there, 573.25 area on any pullbacks. Bitcoin, no, after triggering the double, no rollover yet. Bouncing back into, not anywhere close to invalidating it. Still looking for rollover plays in Bitcoin. What else? NVIDIA. NVIDIA, I mean, this is a slight gap down today. Huge stock buyback announced also with NVIDIA. Again, if it breaks above, there's a lot of resistance up here that has not been able to get through, but there's no great setups. There just aren't a lot good ideas throwing, putting 5 on the watch list. So there's just not a lot of great setups. Tesla, after a multi-day bounce back up, testing very, very key major resistance. I'm not finding a lot of good setups going into the end of the week. Have to see what PCE brings tomorrow, but this market is, from a feeling perspective, is feeling very heavy. From a trade perspective, unless we get something to trigger, there aren't any short setups. Unless we get something like, because everything's going to be off the table. Even in the spiders, this little mini one will probably be off the table once it opens. So I'm just going to pull it out. It's gonna take that out. I'll put it back on if it comes back up. So it's going to all rest on the PCE tomorrow. I don't have much more to say besides just manage stops on the long side. And pay attention, especially with that VIX. That VIX still. Everything, all kinds of stuff is just selling that VIX. With that, I shall talk to everyone later. Not going to waste anybody's time today. Remember, PCE numbers tomorrow, and that can definitely move the market. So I will see everybody back tomorrow. Have a wonderful trading day. Bye for now.